first thing that's coming to me, if someone feels stuck, is the reason you'd say I feel stuck is basically you're saying I don't want the experience that I've got now. This experience isn't what I want. I want this enlightened experience later down the line, or I want a better experience later down the line, or I want to be happier, I want to be freer, I want to be this, that, whatever. And that's completely valid. See, I could answer this question in a couple of different ways, because I could speak to that part and be like, yeah, do this, you can do that, you can do that, you can get out of it, come on, it's everything, like give some sort of motivation, which is completely 100% valid, and sometimes I definitely would give that advice. But in this moment, something else is coming, which is, I guess, you could say a bit of a deeper answer, which is that if you feel stuck, then that's an opportunity for you to find freedom in the stuckness. And a story's coming to me of somebody who they became a paraplegic. I can't remember the exact name for this, but when you lose all ability to move. This guy lost all ability to move, but he could communicate with just winking his right eye. My friend told me this story the other day, but this guy, the first thing he communicated when he could sort of communicate with his eye, like spell out using the alphabet, was kill me. That was the first thing he communicated. So that was him feeling completely stuck. Can you get more stuck than not being able to move anything but a little bit of your right eye? And then a certain point came where he surrendered to his experience. And then his experience went from immense struggle and suffering to complete freedom, peace, joy, and openness. He still couldn't move. He still could only move his right eye, but he'd accepted his way of being. He'd accepted his situation. The only thing that ever causes suffering is resistance to our experience. That's what the ego is. The ego is resistance to our experience. So if you say you're feeling stuck, what is happening is you are resisting your current experience. You're saying this big fat no to what you're experiencing right now. You're saying a big fat no to what life has given you right now. And it's that no saying to life which is causing your suffering. It's the no saying to life which is causing your suffering. So what to do about that? This guy surrendered. He was in an extreme circumstance, and often if you're in an extreme circumstance, there's more likely that a surrender is going to take place, because the suffering is so intense that somehow choosing freedom is easier. So that's it. We need to choose freedom. So what do I mean by that, and how do you do that? Well, so you're there feeling stuck, feeling frustrated, feeling like something isn't quite right. Now, I'm going to give a couple of ways in which you can surrender, in which you can come into a state of acceptance. Now, often it is the emotions within our body which is fueling the one that's trying to escape where they're at. So the feeling of frustration or anxiety or sadness or whatever in the body is really saying, no, I don't want this. And it's that emotion which is driving up into thinking, which is the resistance. The emotion in the body driving thinking is the resistance. So one thing we can do to surrender is retract attention back away from the thinking and bring it fully 100% into the body. Feel every cell within the body, every cell within your hands, every cell within your feet, every cell within your legs. Feel into your bones, your spine, your hips, your shoulders, your throat, your neck, your jaw, your head. Feel into every cell of the body. And in doing that, you will meet the uncomfortability. You will meet the one that's resistance, which is lodged somewhere in the body as an energy. And when you feel that resistance in the body, in the same way that you feel your hands, your feet, your legs, your arms, in the same way that you're feeling into every cell, you feel into the resistance. You come into the resistance, you inhabit the resistance, you go really close, get really intimate with the resistance. And what happens when you do that is you drop out of the story in the mind, the one that's saying, I don't want this, I don't want that, I want something else, I want something else. And you're just with the energy in the body. And that is one way where you can actually kind of do something to surrender into the moment. Now, I practice this with intense fear. I experienced intense fear for many, many years, and one of my fears was the fear of death. And that was just in my mind all the time. What's going to happen after I die? And it was so intense. But what I did was I did exactly what I just said. I brought all of my attention away from the mind, the fear of this future death thing, which was just something in my mind. And I brought it all into my body. And if I came completely, fully, 100% into the body, there was an acceptance, and there was a peace, and there was a freedom. So that's one way in which you can surrender into the moment when you're feeling stuck. And basically it's about coming out of the mind, coming into the present moment. The mind is based on future and past. It's always feeling stuck. When am I going to get better? Why has this happened to me? It's future, past. But finding freedom is coming into the moment, coming right here, right now. So the other thing that we can do, another sort of technique, if you will, is when you're feeling stuck, even if you're feeling completely stuck, you're lying in bed in the fetal position and everything's going wrong. Like, I've done this so many times. I've been lying in bed in the fetal position, my heart just like ripped open, like, oh my God, couldn't be feeling more pain. And I just sense into, okay, is there something in my heart, even this tiny little speck in my heart, which is okay, which is just okay? And I place my attention there on this tiny little speck of okayness in the heart. Now, everything is wanting to pull you into the resistance. We're so used to having our attention pulled into the resistance, pulled into the suffering, and that feeds it. It's giving like attention to the mind, feeds that. But when you find that place of okayness, if you find that just little place of warm okayness in the heart, and you just find it and you just rest attention on it, then you choose that. You give yourself to that. You fall into that. And then that little place of okayness, you might feel it as a kind of slight joy. And it can start almost smiling. It's like this inner smile in the heart. And you give yourself to that. And instead of giving yourself to the resistance, to the stuckness, to the thoughts, to the feelings, you give yourself to your heart. And you fall into that. And it's amazing how you can, just by doing that, just by placing attention in that, and going into that, then all of the resistant mind patterns and the feeling that something's wrong with your life and you're stuck and all that falls away. And you're just in wide open beingness.